Pull it down till you start sneezing, then pull it up. And it says cold.
Shorty, Miss Lisa.
Kidding about you thinking. I wasn't kidding about going to ask you.
Is it my turn again?
I'll do it.
Okay, there you go.
You know why
That's
I'll do it?
That's teamwork.
Because it's today for by the grace of God, we still have a neighborhood.
Yeah.
That the
Yeah, that
wind
was-
didn't shift to the trees.
Yeah, that was a big concern.
What?
Oh, that was right behind you, wasn't it?
Yeah, that thing was a whole chimney. But thank you, Jesus, and the wind did not shift to the trees. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. It made me think about California.
Hey, Gary.
Because that's what happened. Wind
Yeah,
shifted,
things
trees
happen.
fall on the house.
Yeah, you get the wind
That was
carrying the
definitely
embers,
bad.
and it could easily happen. It could easily happen, so thank goodness.
There she is. Hello, Mr. Pittman. Oh, let me turn this off. I don't need this ringing. Turn your phone off already. Turn this thing off.
Good evening, everyone. We're just about at that time, so we're going to take another 30 seconds up here to make sure that we're all set and ready, make sure all technical things are in order. We're going to ask if you have your cell phones with you, you can just place those on vibrate. We would appreciate it. Thanks so much.
This really makes me think of the allergy. My ear keeps itching. It's allergies.
That time of the year. My daughter just called me. My hair hurts so bad. I said, girl, sinuses.
The time is now 6 o'clock, so we're going to get ready to call the council meeting in order.
Councilmember Davis Quince,
Here.
Councilmember McConnell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
I'm here. I've been sneezing. I don't think I have anything, but I just want to make sure I'm not spreading anything. I think
Mayor
it's my
Alberry.
allergies.
Here. Thank you so much. We do have a quorum set. At this time, let us stand for our invocation, please.
Father God, as we come together tonight, Lord, we just want to say thank you that today's fire, Jesus, that it did not spread to our neighborhoods, Lord God, that they were able to put it out, in perfect timing, Jesus. Lord, we want to thank you for bringing us together to make decisions for the people, God. Guide us in the name of Jesus. Thank you for everything you've done and everything you're going to do. It is in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. You may be seated. At this time, we're going to attend to our agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or substitutions to the agenda?
Nothing from staff, sir.
Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
Mayor, so move that we approve the agenda as submitted.
Motion has been made to approve. It
Second.
has been properly moved and seconded. All of those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. It is carried. And if you follow along with us, as well as those who may be online, anything that you see on the agenda that is annotated with an asterisk is to be considered for our consent agenda. At this time, we have nothing so designated. Is there any items to be considered for the consent agenda?
No, sir.
Hearing none, we will continue on our agenda. Our next item is item 4, and this is proclamations and presentations. We do have a presentation by our lobbyists, the Pittman Group. So we thank you so much for coming all the way from Tallahassee. They are here. So we're going to turn the podium over to them, and thank you so much again for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and to the council members, thank you so much for allowing us to be before you today. Mr. Manager, thank you. It's good to see you, sir.
Good to see
Madam
you.
Clerk, Madam Attorney, all those assembled, thank you. First, it's a new year, new opportunity to represent you before the folks that are making big decisions in Tallahassee. Let me start by introducing our team, our Director of Governmental Affairs, Sam Peltier, who some of you have come up to see us the last couple years, and Sam is here. Our newest member of the team, our Regional Director of Governmental Affairs, is Casey Denny, who is formerly Intergovernmental Affairs Director for the county. So we came and plucked her away because she's just that good. So we're happy to have her on the team. I want to, and by the way, she is here, y'all. So, Mr. Manager, there's someone from the firm here in our office in Singer Island, on location in Palm Beach County, and so she's not just another member of the team, but she extends our ability to represent our clients in Palm Beach County on a personal, upfront sort of way. So we hope that's good news to you. It's certainly good news to us. I want to start by, and we're not going to be long. I want to start by thanking you for the opportunity that you give us each year to represent you in Tallahassee. We've had some good times. We've had some not so good times. Good thing is we've never had bad times, right? And that means that, you know, while the last couple years and last several years, the legislature has proved to really like the town very, very much. Sometimes we get it through the governor's office and we're able to bring it home. Last couple years, not this past year, but the last couple years prior to, the governor's office has had some issue with the projects that we brought forth. Last year, we were able to, at the last minute, get $100,000 through as sort of a litmus test, a gift from the House of Representatives, because they wanted to find out whether the governor's office had some issue with the town or with us or with someone. So the speaker was very happy to see that that was not the case. So we feel good about where we're headed this year, that people won't feel like they're wasting their time with us by allocating money, because we do have a good relationship. The town has a good relationship with the governor's office, so you can rest assured of that. And I will say this, Mr. Manager, when you all visit Tallahassee and you go up to the 18th floor to meet with the governor's budget people, that's not wasted. That is a good opportunity for them to see the people who are working on the ground. And the constituents that you represent should be proud of you, because you all show up every year and you do a very, very good job at making sure that people don't look over this town that has, you know, small amount of people, but mighty, and have the same needs that folks have all over the state. And you've done a great job to put that in the right places. You show up to the offices and you speak the truth, and in most cases to power, and that's a good thing. So we wanted to just talk to you today about just sort of not the past, but where things are headed, and give you some indication of where you fit into that. And we'll be happy, Mr. Mayor, to answer any questions you may have after that. I'm going to ask Casey to start with our short presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. Happy to see you here today. If you skip to the next page in our presentation, the Florida Long Range Fiscal Outlook was just released, and we thought it would be a good opportunity to give you sort of a roadmap for what legislators are going to be working through in Tallahassee this session. The 3-year forecast showed that while in year 1 there was going to be a $6.6 billion surplus, that by year 3 that will drop to a $6 billion deficit. So that means that if spending continues at the rate of growth that currently exists, then the legislature's not going to have any money left. So they have to make some tough decisions going into this legislative session, and they're going to do that. Some of the challenges that were brought up in that forecast were expanding population growth, particularly with our senior population. By 2030, 25% of Florida's population is estimated to be seniors. So obviously that places increased demands on the services that you provide. When we're looking at the legislative session's major policy issues coming up, aside from the fiscal issues that they'll have to face, there's a few things that you can always expect. First and foremost, leadership priorities. We know Senate President Ben Albritton has said that he's going to bring forth his rural proposal that didn't make it across the finish line last year. So that will definitely dominate a lot of the discussion in Tallahassee. The House Property Tax Committee and property tax reform, Sam's going to talk about that in a few minutes. That's also going to be another major issue that they're going to be discussing. Sovereign immunity. There's always every year an effort to raise the cap on lawsuits against governmental entities. We're going to see that come back and that fight come back again this year. We'll keep an eye out for you on that. And also on Senate Bill 180. That was the legislation that placed additional restrictions after hurricanes on local governments, what they could and could not do as far as comp plan amendments and planning and zoning and those types of things. So we'll anticipate seeing a bill that makes tweaks to that law that was passed to hopefully address some of the concerns of local governments. And lastly, the issue of congressional redistricting. This is something that was brought up by the governor, and also the House has presently put forth a select committee to reevaluate congressional redistricting to determine if those districts that currently exist need to be relooked at. We don't know if that will happen this session or if it will happen in a special session, but it's definitely something that's being discussed and could be a topic of concern. Sam, will you take it away?
Thanks, Casey. And Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council, it's good to be with you tonight. Quickly on the property tax, and I know this was something we talked about last year. We've been in touch, Mr. Manager, I know, on kind of the fallout of that. If you'll recall, last session, the governor kind of signaled that he really wanted to take a look at property tax across the state and abolishing it entirely. Obviously, that rang a lot of alarms for municipalities across the state and the impact that may have. And in response, the Speaker of the House, Daniel Perez, actually formed a select working group on property taxes. It's comprised several, numerous members in the House on both sides of the aisle, with the goal of really looking at potential solutions to address property taxes and homestead exemptions. They've met several times in the fall, culminating in about 8 resolutions that were released last week relating to property tax. Specifically, they range from categorical eliminations to exemptions for homestead and others, but I think the big takeaways were, 1, these are all going to be ballot initiatives. They won't be discussed in the legislature, not passed as law. And secondly, all of them specifically did not touch law enforcement funding, as well as school taxes, which, as you all are very aware, property taxes comprise about 46% of all school funding, or $21 billion. So we stayed in touch with this committee. They so far haven't announced that they'll meet again. Representative Edmonds, Tendrich, and Weinberger all on this committee, so we're staying in close touch with them, as well as the manager, to make sure that y'all are aware of any potential updates. But as of now, it's a really wait-and-see approach to see if there's more developments, if there's a response from the governor of the Senate, but right now we haven't heard of any. And then lastly, I'll be really quick, I just wanted to run through, and this is your next slide, the upcoming legislative dates. We just concluded the second committee week last week, with the next committee week being the first week of November. Just for y'all's awareness, and I know you're aware of this, the beginning of session is January 13th. It's an early session this year, with Palm Beach County Days being that first day as well as the 14th. So just want to make sure that's on y'all's calendar as well. as Attorney Pittman mentioned, it's really invaluable when y'all come up and are able to speak with the members. So having y'all up there for Palm Beach County Days is a real opportunity for us to put the initiatives and priorities of the town before the people that will make the decisions ultimately. So that's it for me. I'll get it back to Attorney Pittman really quick.
Okay. Just before we do, let the record reflect that Councilwoman Webb has joined the dais. Feel free to continue.
Good to see you, Councilmember.
We won't take much more of your time, but we would just, we're anxious to get a few projects from you. We think your water project is still a very good project that we ought to continue to work towards and inform and educate and try to bring money back for. We think your infrastructure projects are still very ripe, and the opportunity to bring back dollars for infrastructure is also very palatable. We also, and the manager and I have talked about this, we want to begin to really take advantage of grant opportunities before state agencies, and the manager has been very, very helpful in looking through some of those and pointing out what would work for the town. So you may see in the future us collaborating on figuring out how we work both ends, right? We work the appropriations process, but we work all year long on these agency pots of money that are sitting there for things that you may not even know it's out there for you, and we can work in the other direction. The appropriation wise, we grab a project, we go for the money for the project. With some of the agency stuff, we could see pots of money and say, does that fit a need we have, right? So we want to do it both ways. All right, that's really, other than us putting our eyes on you and you putting your eyes on us, the manager thought it was a good idea for us to come down and get in front of you and to say thank you, and to also tell you that we're geared up and ready to carry your flag in Tallahassee once again.
We appreciate it. We're going to see if there's
Open to any questions.
Any questions or comments from the audience?
I know, thank you so much for coming and giving us the updates and what's coming up. I'm very concerned about the property tax reform. And is there anything we can do to encourage consideration, especially being a small municipality, as we rely deeply on our revenues? What can we do to kind of encourage them to keep our coffers in place?
Yeah, I got to tell you, and Sam Peltier is right. I mean, this is going to be something citizens vote for or against. But I think what's really important is that some of y'all work closely with the League of Cities, and they are really at the forefront of trying to articulate all the reasons why this would hurt. But here's the piece that is being used against you. They have taken small percentages, pots, a city here, a county there, to try to dive into what they're spending their money on and where waste may be. And they're using that as an example to say that the property tax money isn't as important as it seems. What's important is that they spend the money correctly and wisely. The best thing you could do at this point, I think, is to make sure that the way you spend your money, if they ever decide for Mangonia, for the town to be an example, that you don't feed into the narrative. But the other thing you can do is, if it's something that you believe would really hurt, is to get your constituencies ready to vote in a certain way. I wouldn't wait to begin that conversation. I would start talking to people right now. The third thing is, and the manager probably has already done this, is identify where you will have issues if the property tax dollars would go away as we know it today. Where would it start to hurt? I suspect it would be similar to the other municipalities, but being a small town, it may have a drastic level of impacts as opposed to one that you can mitigate. Some of the larger areas probably can mitigate it, especially if the police and fire and education's in place. They may be able to mitigate it by moving money from some other place or increasing something here to gain more resources there. If you're a smaller municipality, you may not have those options. So you might want to find yourself a part of the conversation that argues that small municipalities might be hurt worse because you don't have mitigating circumstances to bring to the table.
In that regard, it would be wise for us to have community forums to inform the residents on what's coming up in ballot considerations and what would be best for the
Absolutely,
town.
absolutely.
All right, then I do hope that we look at that, council, to have some community information sessions, community forums, make sure our residents, even beyond our borders, are familiar with what's coming up so that we can have appropriate choices being made for our benefit. Thank you.
So, okay. Other council comments or questions? Alrighty, so just as it relates to that, of course, we will be doing that. We'll try and get ahead of the curve. One of the things, of course, in the telling is always that when you say something like, we're going to take away all of your taxes, you don't have to pay taxes anymore. It excites the ear. And, oh, great, I don't have
It's
to
a
pay
hard
taxes
fight.
anymore.
It's a hard.
Right, but it isn't until you begin to explain to people in terms of every city's level of services, well, who's going to pay for it now? Right? Either you can do it all on your own. When your street tear up, then you know, kind of get together with the neighborhood and you got to fix your street. Right, and I think when you look at it in totality, that here's what happens when you take away the 50 cents that you're putting in. Now what will happen is that perhaps you and all of your neighbors have to put in $2 as opposed to 50 cents, if you will. And all of the cities are going to experience the same thing. It's just a matter of the percentages. We look at it, bigger cities like the one next door, right, who's, unless they have a millage rate right now of like 0, and I don't know any municipality that does, they're going to feel the same impact that we will. It's just that they have more of it to be felt. So yeah, it's not a good idea at all. I don't know who thought of that. It's just not a good idea. And I think it was Oliver Wendell Holmes that said, taxes are the things we pay to have a civilized society. You've got to pay taxes. If not, service tax. Yeah. Alrighty, any other council comments or questions? Okay, if not.
I mean, he already hit on the infrastructure, but I know for us, water is a big thing. We really need to get, if we can, get as much as we can for the water, because we need a lot of improvements in our water system. But that's, to me, that's a big deal.
Yeah, and Councilman, thank you for bringing it up. I can assure you, your manager, who, by the way, we communicate with on a regular basis, and thank you for having an open door and an open line. It helps because they listen to managers. They like to talk to managers, and we use your manager quite a bit in that way. But it's always the first thing that comes out of his mouth, and we think there's even as we talk about the grants that are available in DEP, we think that there's we just want to build the pipeline of places that we're going to for money, and I think that'll help with the water situation as well.
Well, we need you guys up there.
Thank you. We appreciate
Put on the boxing
that. We appreciate that.
They really do. Yeah, it's just one of those situations, and of course the group knows very well, that we get these sort of unfunded mandates. Yeah. One of the greatest things that I think happened was that when we went into the Live Local. Oh, that's great. There you go. We can kind of get things done quickly and so forth, but at the same time, when you can't produce, in our situation, the amount of water that you need without expanding your plant, then it just becomes something that is a good idea, but won't come to fruition. So we really appreciate it, and I know Ken is constantly, like you stated, is constantly, sort of hammering that home because we gotta rehab our plant and expand it. Yeah. Okay. Other comments or questions from council? If there are none. We really appreciate you guys coming over.
Thank you.
Spending a little time
and
with us.
Mr. Mayor, my mother lives down the street on Village Boulevard, and I noticed y'all got a lot of Florida Trend magazines here, and somebody told me I'm in it. Can I have one? Take to my mama. If that's all right. I think the manager might give me one. There he is. There it is. All right.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, to yours. I can always get a copy, so. No, you guys keep.
Okay. Okay, this is different than mine. You're still my friend.
No, you have is that the most current copy?
Yes.
That's the anniversary edition.
Uh-oh, you gave it up.
Which one are you in, though?
Can't take it back.
No, hang on to that one, office copy. Yeah, that's the anniversary edition.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
So-
right, God bless y'all.
And
Thanks for coming.
want you to know, we appreciate you. Because you have been there for us. When we get to Tallahassee, you take good care of us, and I appreciate that. You make sure we have our appointments to see all who we need to see. And then you're there to push us through, so we thank you for that.
Actually, that's
Keep
all
up the good
Sam,
work.
so it's not him.
Sam did it.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thanks again, we
All
appreciate it.
right.
Well, thanks so
See you in
much.
January.
Okay. Oh, and thanks again, have a great evening.
Congratulations,
Our next-
Casey.
Okay. Righty, so we're gonna move on our agenda. Our next item is our Palm Beach County League of Cities meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a reminder, the next Palm Beach County League meeting is tomorrow out in Westlake at the Lodge at Westlake Adventure Park. The address is 5490 Kingfisher Boulevard, and as I told you at your last meeting, the presenter will be Stephanie Goldfuss, and her presentation title is Strategic Communications in Crisis, Staying in Your Lane for Successful Outcomes. So I don't know if you can still RSVP given it's tomorrow, but let Manager Metcalf know if you plan to attend, and that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Didn't we already do it? Oh,
No,
Okay.
I haven't
Righty.
heard from.
Right, and so if anyone's interested, we can take
We
it
can-
offline.
we can try to.
Okay. All right, thanks so much. Any questions for our attorney?
did that last meeting.
Okay, hearing that there are none, we're going to move on in our agenda. My apologies. Our next item is item 6. If you follow along, we have item 6A. This is an ordinance number 2025-03. This, of course, is first reading, amending the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, License and Business Regulations, to add an entirely new article. Amity?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll read it by title and then I'll give the council an explanation. So as you said, it's ordinance number 2025-03, an ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Mangonia Park, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Mangonia Park at Chapter 14, Licenses and Business Regulations, to add an entirely new Article 4, Reasonable Accommodations, in order to codify the town's existing process for processing reasonable accommodation requests in housing, including such requests from certified recovery residences as required by Florida Statute 397.487, repealing Resolution number 2017-01, providing a conflicts clause, a severability clause, and authority to codify, providing an effective date, and for other purposes. As you indicated, Mr. Mayor, this is first reading of this ordinance. In short, the change to the state law last legislative session requires local governments to adopt by January 1st, 2026, an ordinance that establishes a reasonable accommodation process for certified recovery residences, and those are specifically defined by state law. What this ordinance does, the town, as you're all likely aware, already has a reasonable accommodation process. You adopted that by resolution in 2017. Because the state law requires a codification and a specific ordinance to deal with the reasonable accommodation process for certified recovery residences, it seemed a little bit dangerous to have that process codified in your ordinance and then a separate process set by resolution for any other reasonable accommodation request. So any other accommodation in housing for somebody who is disabled under the ADA or the FHA. So what this ordinance is doing is codifying what is your existing process. So this is, although it looks a little bit daunting and it looks like a lot of language, this is your existing process just being put into your ordinance rather than in resolution form. The only thing that is new that isn't in your existing reasonable accommodation process is the specific reference to certified recovery residences, because that's what has to be addressed in the new state law mandate that has to go through both first and second reading and be enacted prior to January 1st of 2026. So with that, I'll pause there and answer any questions, but I think the important takeaways for the council are, unfortunately, number one, this is a requirement of state law that the town pass an ordinance to deal with reasonable accommodations for certified recovery residences. More importantly, this is not creating or developing a new process. This is the process that we already have in place. It just is being put into your ordinance rather than in the existing resolution. So with that, I'll stop and answer any questions, and I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, thank you so much. At this time, are there any questions or comments from council as it relates to the proposed ordinance?
So if we have it already, what is it, a resolution?
You
Or you
adopted
making
it
an
in
ordinance out of a
resolution.
resolution?
That's correct. And the part that is built into the ordinance that was not in your 2017 resolution is the specific reference to certified recovery residences. But in terms of an application process, how the town processes, it's sort of an interactive process. That process is already in place through adoption of a resolution.
So the state is saying you have to have an ordinance, not a resolution.
And yes, in the context and only specifically related to certified recovery residences, that's the state law mandate, is you have to adopt an ordinance to establish a reasonable accommodation process for certified recovery residences. The state's not saying we have to codify our existing ordinance, but it doesn't make sense to have an ordinance on the books that deals with one thing and then a separate resolution. I think that's confusing to potential applicants, and I think it's confusing for anybody who's doing the review that we have two processes. So we're meeting the state law mandate and essentially putting into your ordinance the process that's already in place.
Other questions or comments? Other questions or comments from council? Yep. So I did read through it, but just its clarification, Amity. So what we basically did was took our resolution, cut and pasted it onto now the ordinance. The only other additional being item 8 on page 4. Is
Yes,
that
so
understood? Oh.
so I'll tell you exactly the places that are new. So that is exactly correct, Mr. Mayor. Section 1442 on page 2. There's a definition for the term certified recovery residence that was not in your prior resolution. That definition tracks state law, so that definition is pulled straight out of the state law in terms of what a certified recovery residence is. 1443, there's language in your existing resolution. This just clarifies, again, specific to certified recovery residences, that they have to have a business tax receipt from the town, which applies to anybody, but we needed to clarify that in the ordinance. And then yes, as you said, in terms of page 4, number 8 at the top of the page is new, obviously, because that language is specific to certified recovery residences. But all of the rest of that, the meat of the process is really in section 1444, which begins on page 3 and carries over into page 4, 5, 6, 7, and all the way through the end of the ordinance. That is your existing process that was, as you said, Mr. Mayor, very astutely, moved from resolution form and put into this ordinance. So the application process is the same, the processing by the town designee is the same, the no fee is the same. None of that was revised in any way. It was just moved over, if you will.
Okay. All right, thanks so much, appreciate it. Are there any other questions or comments by council?
I guess my only concern is by moving it from into an ordinance, you said there was no fee change. Is this gonna be any other restrictions that we need to consider?
No, and I'm sorry for saying that maybe in a confusing way. I just meant that there is no fee currently under the resolution for processing a reasonable accommodation application. There is no fee for that application. This ordinance says the same thing. There is similarly no fee for any application that we get for reasonable accommodation.
Okay. Thank you.
Certainly. Any other questions or comments by council? Hearing none, we'll see if there's any comments from the floor. The floor is open for public comment. Okay. Hearing none, we'll close the floor. We'll be back at the dais to see if there's any other questions or comments.
Any listeners online? Do we have any online?
No, we've closed the floor. We did. We opened the floor, we closed it. So we're here now to see if there's any other questions or comments from the council.
Did you understand my question?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So at this point, if there's no other questions or comments by council, motion please.
Mr.
Mr. Mayor, so move that we approve, hold on, let me go back up. Ordinance number 2025-03, first reading.
Okay,
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded that we approve upon first reading ordinance number 202-503. At this time, are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Councilmember Buchanan Webb.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis Quince.
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
And Mayor Alberry.
Yes.
Passes unanimously.
Thank you so much. We're going to continue on in our agenda. Our next item is item 6B. And this is resolution number 2025-11, repealing resolution number 2022-13, confirming approval of modified land development application number SR 2025-01. Mitty?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a quasi-judicial item, so as the applicant is approaching the podium, I will ask him to give the council his name for the record.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. Doug Murray with WGI.
Good
Thank
evening.
you.
Good evening.
And I'll swear you in if you could raise your right hand for me, and any staff who's going to be testifying, do you all swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, and I'll turn back to the council for any ex parte disclosures on this item. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. With that, we'll yield the floor.
Thank you. Again, Doug Murray, I'm with WGI on behalf of the applicant, which is Meritage Homes. So before you today, we're going to be discussing the Enclave at Mangonia Park, which is a townhouse development just across the street here. It's 162 townhomes that was constructed. It's been constructed for a couple years now. The builder, again, Meritage Homes, has been working with the town over the past several months to try and document a couple items that are existing as-built conditions. So those couple items are what I'm going to be discussing today. The first item, which is shown on the updated master plan and the landscape plan, are the driveways. So we have 32 of the existing one-car driveways have been expanded from 8 feet to 16 feet. Now that was a mixture of homeowners kind of doing this themselves and the developer contractor doing it for them. The main reason for doing this is because you want to make sure that they're not parking in the street. So again, that was 32 driveways going from 8 feet to 16 feet. The second item is in regards to the landscape plan, which I have behind here. Specifically on the landscape plan in the western buffer, which backs up to the Lakeshore Apartments. Due to a conflict with an utility easement, we were not able to plant some of the trees and palms in that buffer. There was approximately 11 trees and 32 palms. So we relocated those landscape material to the open space and other buffers. Again, due to that utility easement, there is still a hedge, there's a 6-foot opaque fence, and there's also additional material on the Lakeshore property itself. And basically that is the entirety of the change that we're requesting today. I do have Meritage Homes representatives here, as well as the project engineer, if you have any questions for them.
Okay. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming. We'll see if there's any questions or comments at this time. But just before we do, we'll go to Ken to see if there's any information you want to provide for tonight.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. This is something we talked about on our one-on-ones, and this has been in your manager's report basically for the past year. And this is something that came up along the way. The town has to do a final sign-off for the project, and in order to do this final sign-off, there had to be kind of an inspection, if you will, and our consultants looking at several things. These were a few issues that come up. Our planner indicated that it would probably be a good idea to do a site plan modification. These are, in essence, minor as far as the landscaping goes. We've talked pretty thoroughly about the driveway situation and how some of that came about. But in a nutshell, that's it. This is just something, I don't want to say it's a formality, but this is a major step for Meritage in order to have their bond release ultimately, so. And I'll answer any questions that you may have on that.
Okay, thank you so much. And with that, we'll go to Mitty, as if there's anything you have.
No, Mr. Mayor, the only thing I'll point to is, in the resolution, there were a couple of additional conditions, that we negotiated with the, applicant's representative and the applicant, the ones at the end, specifically 32, 33, and 34, with regard to the driveway expansions, and if there ever is a need, because there are utilities, very close. There are easements in place, but because of the expanded driveways, we wanted to make sure that there is at least a cooperation on the part of the applicant, if we ever need hold harmless agreements from those residents. So we negotiated those, conditions. They're sort of referenced in the staff report that I believe that you all got from, your planning, staff. The conditions don't mirror exactly, the only reason I'm mentioning this is they don't mirror exactly what's referenced in the, planner's report, because the language was negotiated with the applicant and both parties agreed to that language, the revised language. So that's all I wanted to make sure council was aware of.
And Mr. Mayor, if I can add one note to that, on
Sure.
the driveways, we do have very good support from the homeowners association on that. So if that ever comes up, we feel confident that we'll be able to mitigate that.
Thanks so much. So noted. At this time, we'll see if there's any questions or comments from
I have a
council.
question.
Okay. Councilwoman Webb?
I wanted to see if I can get better clarification. So say, for example, something happens, because we're looking at an additional 8 foot, and then you're not sure exactly how far out or if it's interfering with any kind of utility. So if something happened, would that be an expense for the town or the residents or the HOA?
Okay. We'll have,
If they-
we'll have the developer and/or the developer representative or representatives come forward. Yeah, just have a couple of questions.
Town attorney said, if there's additional driveways, I think that was when we enter into the hold harmless agreement. You're referring to the driveways that have already been expanded?
Mhm.
I'm not aware of any utility conflicts for those expanded.
Not necessarily if, like,
driveways.
you never know, like further down the road, if something were to happen. What I didn't hear was how would those be covered? Like, they would have to dig up, if they would have to dig.
So I'll jump in on that before they go. Say like in the case of a water meter, which we do have some of those out there that the expanded driveways have either touched up against or, is now surrounding it. We're going to get to our infrastructure, and our plan is, and again with support from the homeowners association, and she's very big on this, and we briefed them. We need to get to our infrastructure. We're going to get to it, and if we end up tearing up a driveway in the process, the only thing we can do is backfill that. Now, these are for some of the ones that were put in that were not permitted, but later were permitted. I think we've talked about that, but I'll yield to Meritage to address that. We feel like we do have very good cooperation from the homeowners association.
Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, before we hear from her, if I could ask her to give the council her name and then swear her in.
Sure. Casey Lothar with Meritage Homes.
Thank you. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Typically, that's addressed in the recorded plat. Anything that's within a utility easement, if damaged, the homeowner is responsible for the replacement of it. So if their driveway gets torn up during construction of utilities that need to be fixed, then the homeowner would be responsible for repairing their driveway. And that's typically addressed in the plat.
But that would have been that 8 foot that was approved before, but if I'm hearing correctly, there's an additional 8 foot that's been added to make it 16 foot.
Yes,
So
which
I
is
guess
also
when they, say for example, when John purchased his home, he purchased it with 8 foot, but then he added another 8 foot, so technically that 8 foot wouldn't be covered, right?
it's included in the utility easement.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions or comments from the council?
Yes. How you doing? My question isn't about the road, about the driveway. Mine is about the lighting. I've had different people in your neighborhood complain about that first road when you first enter. The lighting is very dark. Is there any way you guys can light up that when you come in that entranceway at night? It's extremely dark when you go down the road. 'Cause I've been there, and I was sitting on the side of the road speaking to a person, and the person almost hit me. She's like, "This is what I'm talking about. It's dark." And I don't know if people are complaining to you guys, but if you guys can work on the lighting. And my next question is, I'm going to piggyback on what Kalisha said. Did you guys send this to the residents to inform them that if the driveways had to be torn up, that they would be the persons paying for it? Did you guys inform them in black and white?
It's included in the recorded plat, so it's a recorded document that's it's shown on all of their plot plans. So when you go to purchase a house, you're provided the information of all of the easements that encumber your lot, and that language is included in that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Other questions or comments?
No, thank you guys for coming.
Okay, just one statement, then perhaps a question. One of the things, of course, is that when you talk about the platting, that's something that, of course, sits at the clerk's office for a long time, and you really don't know it's there until someone else, as you stated, come along to try and purchase the property if you're going to be selling it. And it's such fine detail that, to be honest, not a lot of people read it. They sort of sign off on documents and so forth. So the question would be for us. One of the things for us, we try and make sure that we have total transparency and clarity, so that if indeed that happened, what I wouldn't feel comfortable having an understanding that if indeed the town has to get to its utilities, which is now covered over by brick pavers, that you are now obligated to pay it without something more codified that says, while you may have that already, it's part of the platting and so forth, but please be reminded that if indeed this were to happen, because when it was approved, it was 8 feet. Right now it's 16. Quite oftentimes when you do that, it will interfere with towns or whatever town it is, their utilities. And so when you're coming back to dig that up, I feel more comfortable if there was something, if there isn't already, that would actually notify them currently, not in the past, because again, when you're sitting down signing mortgage documents, you're not reading that. Yeah, it's there, and we can always point to it. It's there, see, but at the same time, well, you didn't tell me about it,
Right.
and that would be the defense of a homeowner. It would be my defense and any
Right.
other homeowners 20 years later, as opposed to if I was just notified now, today, then I have no excuse because there was no small print. It was a 1-page or 2-pager that said you are responsible if indeed you were to expand your driveway. So I don't know what conversations were concerning that, but.
So are you talking about future driveway expansions? I don't believe the
Um,
town is going to consider those for approval, right? Ken, I think
For-
that.
Well, we don't have any.
So I'm sorry, I'm just, so that I'm clear, anything that was expended after the approval was given. So when we had the development application and various other things that happened, it was 8 feet, right? And so as residents began to move in, decisions are made, and we sit in communities all the time where a homeowner may make a decision, I'm going to expand because I get a lot of people coming to visit, I need more space to park. Another person will see, oh, they did it, and then they would do it. So I'm talking from the very initiation of it happening after. The CO has been issued already, yeah.
So what has happened on those that were done after the site plan approval was that if they did not get a permit, they were cited through code enforcement. They came in front of the special magistrate.
Okay.
And then, and Mitty can correct me based on memory here, they were charged double the permit fee, but then ultimately the building official at the time signed off on the permit. So
That's right. And so for the ones that were done before even having been cited by code enforcement, there were several that were permitted by the town. So from a legal perspective, we have an estoppel issue for those. What this applicant has done is they have shown on the site plan at the request of the town, both the ones that were done sort of pre and post there, so that the site plan matches existing condition, because that's important for the town for many reasons. They have agreed, and it's condition 34 in the resolution. It states that the applicant shall cooperate with the town in their pursuit of obtaining hold harmless agreements from property owners for the removal or damage to paver brick driveways installed by property owners post-closing over water meter boxes. So they have agreed to help facilitate that. The town has, from its authority in terms of the utility operator, the town obviously has the authority to rip up driveways. The property owners, I think, whether it's in the plat or in any other document, I think anything that's in an easement, property owners are generally on notice of that. I think a little bit more of the rub in this scenario is that the expanded driveways, the driveway gets close to the meter box, so it's not necessarily that the driveway is actually over the meter box, but there's a greater potential for there to be a conflict between a vehicle and a meter box because the driveway is now almost adjacent to it. So the town from the beginning has tried to compel the hold harmless agreements. The difficulty is there has been a turnover now from the developer to the HOA, so I think probably the best path for the town, and I'm happy to hear Manager Metcalf report that the HOA is still amenable to helping facilitate these things. I think that is accurate based on what I know, and I'm happy to hear him say that tonight, but we certainly have the latitude to get in there. It just becomes who fixes, and the driveways are not really the issue. It's the meter boxes and the other infrastructure. The driveways, I think the property owners are very clear that they're responsible for that. Anything you put in an easement, you're responsible for fixing if the town has to get into its utility and fix something. It's the things that are right outside the driveways that the hold harmless is necessary for. And I think we have at least as their agreement to the condition is that they're going to help us get them, but we don't have them in hand as of tonight.
Okay. And of course, the whole harmless is great, but it doesn't speak directly to, yes, I'm being held harmless. You're going to hold me harmless, but at the same time, you got to make me whole. You dug it up, you got to replace it just like you did, like it was prior to you digging up to fix the meter, right? Which I think are two separate things.
So I think in pursuing these hold harmlesses, all of this is going to be explained to the homeowners.
Okay, will there be language?
We're just cooperating in helping you guys get these hold harmlesses. I'm sure that I'm not in charge of what they say. I'm sure Mitty will be working out the language on this. But
it's drafted.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's drafted and has been provided to all parties.
And again, Mr. Mayor, if I may, so again, that is kind of a three-pronged approach between the town, Meritage, and the homeowners association. So it'll be an educational process before anyone signs anything.
Oh, good, great.
And just one thing, Mr. Mayor, if I could interrupt, I'm sorry to interrupt. Certainly the town is well aware of this issue, so any of the homeowners that have parcels or feasible lots that are affected by this, who come in to do any permitting for any other reason in the town, those are going to be flagged so that we can, number one, make sure that whatever they're trying to do, their permits are processed, but we will use that opportunity also to deal with the driveway scenario as well.
Absolutely. And we've had and still continue to have a great relationship with the developer and the community. So that's not the issue. It's just a matter of being clear as to who has the responsibility should our town need to get to some of the utilities and there's some damage done to the property. So,
Understood.
We appreciate the good relationship we have. We really do. We're going to see if there's anything else.
Yes, I just wanted to
Vice Mayor?
ask, if there is a subsequent homeowner, the property is sold to a new homeowner, how will that new homeowner be informed of their responsibilities?
That's up to the town if they record the documents, and the recorded documents will be a part of the property. And when you sell it again, you would get those documents of all recorded easements and all recorded documents on your property with your mortgage documents as well.
And Madam Vice Mayor, we would absolutely record those documents so that it is a matter of constructive notice to any potential property owner that buys the property.
That's good. All right, thanks.
Alrighty. Any other questions or comments?
No.
Okay. Well, thanks so much. We appreciate it. So at this time, if there's no other questions or comments, we're going to see if there's anything from the floor. We'll open the floor to public comment. See if there's any comment from the floor. And that includes those online. If you have anything, and just as information, for those who may be online, we allow for a 10-20 second delay, just to make sure that the feed is coming through if we do. So the floor is open for public comment at this time.
No comments.
Online.
No comments online.
Okay. Thank you so much. Seeing that there's no comment from the public, we'll close public comment. We're back at the dais. Right, Councilwoman Webb, you had your hand up? Or?
Yeah, what's up?
Let's go right ahead.
So they're looking for an approval on this for tonight.
Correct.
I would love to see the wording within the document that's going to be filed. I was looking for a copy of it and I didn't see it.
It was not part of the backup. It's drafted. I can certainly get it to you after the meeting.
I was asking because I wanted to see exactly, because I echo the same sentiments that the mayor was saying. And then, I'm not trying to confuse it. If there's a water meter that they have to get to, the water meter is broken. I understand that there is a no harmless, but then what are the specifics? What are the wording? What's under there after?
It's basically, and I'll certainly give you a copy, but it's basically a combined right of entry, hold harmless, and indemnification. So it requires the property owner to grant us whatever access we need, should it be under their driveway and outside of an easement. It requires them to hold the town harmless for any damage that the town does to anything that's over or around the infrastructure in the process of fixing whatever the town needs to fix. It's the legal protection to make sure that the homeowner is responsible for anything that happens there. And again, like I said before, the reason for it is if there is anything that's outside of the easement area that's on the plat or in any of the other approved documents.
So,
Okay, we'll see if there's anything else.
So you know how they said anything on this side is the property owners and anything on that side is the city's. The 16-foot goes all the way out from that added 8, so it's going to be technically over. So in say for example it goes out to 10 foot and they need to get out there. Does that still applies if it goes out all the way to the 16, if it's extended all the way out to the 16?
Yeah, so I think what you're talking about is the water line and
Yeah.
who's responsible on what side of the various infrastructure. Really the rub in this scenario is just the boxes. They were previously in grass and now the driveway goes right up to within a few feet of the boxes. So it's not necessarily about the lines, it's about the boxes that were previously in people's front yards, if you will, air quotes, grassed area, that now there's the potential that if you take the corner too sharp or not sharp enough, you end up in over the meter box instead of nowhere near the meter box if the driveway wouldn't have been expanded.
And out of those 32 homes, there's absolutely no utility wires or cables or anything extending out to that 16-foot?
I don't think so. I think it's just the boxes. The lines were what they were, and they did not run afoul with the expansion. It's just that where the boxes are now are very close in proximity to the driveways.
That's correct.
Ready? We'll see if there's anything else.
No,
Councilwoman Webb?
that would be all, thanks.
Okay, Councilwoman
Is
Davis?
there any way we can get a copy of that before we make a decision that what you have? Because we haven't seen that paper that you're just speaking on.
You certainly can. Just so the council is aware, it's a document that I drafted, so it's most protective of the town. It's not something that the applicant provided. It is the town's existing document. We have hold harmlesses. This one was happened to be a combined document. It was not part of the applicant's application. It's a requirement that the town is putting forward. So what's before you tonight is the language in the resolution that requires them to cooperate with the town to get those documents executed. I'm not sure, certainly the council can require that to be brought back, but I'm not sure that you technically need to approve that document. It's a document I drafted, so it is legally sufficient. I'm your town attorney. I would not bring it to you and propose it if it wasn't protective of the town. So I'll certainly get a copy of it to you, but it's not something that typically is made part of the application, because
Right.
the application is the applicant's to
That's
bring
fine.
forward to the town.
I'm not questioning you, I just would like to see.
I appreciate that. I just wanted to make sure you knew I drafted it. Yeah, it's not something that they provided to us for review.
Right.
It originated from the town.
Yeah, I understand, but.
Okay. And just as
we'd like
if
But I'll
to see
certainly
it.
give you a copy.
Okay.
So
And just
we
as
might
if
need to table this.
Okay, and just as information, our decision tonight on the resolution is as it relates to the modified application. Right, as Amitty was stating, the application was separate. The ancillary conversation we were having was just to make sure that we're, in addition to held harmless, do we also have to make whole? Right, and that's the information, you know, being addressed in the letter, not the application which we're voting on here tonight. Okay, all right, McConnell, you had your hand up? Okay.
It was about the meters, because if the meter's in the driveway, the pipe is in the driveway. Am I correct?
Well, that would be correct, except, you know, we don't have
So-
really a meter that's in the driveway. You know, nothing's covered over. It's going to be sufficient enough for us to come from where it's not expanded to get to that. But if, for example, I mean, there was that situation, we're still going to get to our meter box. I mean, regardless.
But if I understand it right, we was only, this resolution only is talking about the meter.
That's right.
So if the meter's in the driveway, then the pipe is in the driveway. So they've covered the pipe up also.
I can speak to
Is
that.
that correct or not?
That's not correct. So there's still, the meters are located still between the driveways in a landscape area. I was just trying to see if I could figure out still how much space. It looks to be approximately still 4 feet between the driveways, and typically the utility companies are looking for 2 or 2.5 feet minimum. So we're still, what we're asking for is not really unique. You're still having, it's not in the driveway, it's still between, it's actually exactly between the two driveways on their lot line. So it's still within a landscape area, so it's not necessarily going to get, I mean, could someone drive on it? Possibly, but it's in a landscape area, it's not within the driveway.
Because I know in the past, you know, when somebody goes around and starts digging up somebody's yard, they're out there, you know, they're upset. What are you digging my yard up for? And, you know, if the pipe's under the driveway, then the meter, and the meter's under the driveway, then they got
Typically
what if the pipe leaks? They
typically
gotta
the
fix
meter,
pipe.
sorry, typically the meter is right behind the sidewalk in a landscape area, and then from that meter, it has to get into the house, so it's going to go back, and ultimately it's gonna go under your driveway near where your garage is. And obviously if that happens, your driveway's getting torn up, but that's very, very uncommon.
So I'm kind of going by what the mayor said, you know, it's a brand new place, so it's probably not gonna happen. But down the road, 10 years, 15 years, is when this is gonna crop up.
Ready? And again, just for clarity, and of course, again, the ancillary conversation is good, right? And so, because we want to make sure for the record, at least we're clear in our understanding as well as the developer's understanding. But what we're looking at here today is to vote on the actual revision to the site plan, or the modification, if you will, to allow from the 8 feet to 12 feet, 8 feet to 16 feet driveways. Right, but we do want to have on record, so the conversation is good, that's great if we approve this, but at the same time, our approval does not now make us responsible for any repairs because of that. Right, so that would be the conversation for the record. But our decision here tonight is whether or not we're going to approve the modification to the plan from 8 feet to 16 feet.
And Mr. Mayor, if I could just add one clarification, just so it is abundantly clear, it is only on the parcels that are specifically identified on their site plan. So this does not give approval for all of the lots. It is only the ones that have already been expanded or otherwise noted on the site plan that is before this body. And also, for the council, the revisions to the landscape plan that were made that I guess reflect existing conditions from your prior approved landscape plan.
And
So
Mr.
noted,
Mayor,
and I failed to conclude it there, but as the attorney stated, so noted for the record. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, just to further complicate things, so on the initial site plan that was approved by council, so there was for some of the properties, if you look at the site plan, there's an allowance at the owner's expense through the purchase agreement to expand the driveway. So some of this has already been approved. Strictly from my point of view, I'm just talking about the ones that were after the fact, that were not done properly through the permitting process. There are some on here that were initially approved in the site plan process.
Okay, and so just before if we have full discussion, so just before we do a meeting, we'll have our attorney restate what the approval tonight will cover.
So the town council tonight is potentially approving the site plan modification, which shows the site plan that's part of your backup shows expanded driveways on select lots, not on all. So council, if you were to approve this tonight, would not be approving expansion of driveways on all of the lots, only the ones that are specifically depicted on the site plan as having been revised to show the expanded driveway. You would also be approving the revised landscape plan, which reflects, as the applicant indicated to you, existing conditions, which shows differing landscape that was not able to be planted because of conflicts with utilities in a particular area. So you are approving only the modifications. You would be approving the new landscape plan, which shows those modifications. But just so the record is clear, you're not approving expanded driveways for all of the townhomes. You are only approving the plan that is before you tonight, that has been provided by the applicant.
Thank you so much. And that's clear to the applicant?
Yes.
Okay. Righty, and lastly I'll come right to you. And lastly to staff and to our attorney. Now, has the conditions been met that were required?
I'm not sure which ones you mean.
There were some things that were stated by that our planner had.
Those are in there. Yeah,
They're-
so
they're
the
all
ones
part
in
of
the
the
staff report that you all got from your planner, from Lance and Osneal, those are the conditions that I was speaking of that were revised and agreed to by the applicant.
Okay.
They're
And
the
those
last
were
three.
Okay.
specific to the landscape plan.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, so noted. Vice Mayor, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Webb, and then we'll call.
One
the
more
vote.
question. So this document would have to be signed, right, by the residents?
Which document?
The one that, for the hold harmless?
Yes,
Is
ma'am,
that
the
a-
property owner.
Will there be a deadline for their signatures on there?
There is not in the current condition.
Mhm. But after?
After,
I was trying to figure out, when do they sign this? Because say, for example, something happens tomorrow. and have to
ideally, they
go-
would be signed sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Mr.
But would
Mayor?
we-
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry. On that note, and I didn't mean to interrupt, just to help out that question, if council wants to direct staff to a certain time period,
Yeah.
obviously that would be accepted and we would begin immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay,
believe.
so with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that answered the question for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All righty.
And we are speaking of the 32 homes, correct?
We're looking at, if we want to call it the plats or the homes,
Plats,
as stated by our
homes.
attorney.
32, correct?
As stated by our attorney. Yes.
The
Only
ones
those
that are on the
stated.
plan, the applicant can tell you the exact number. Is it?
It is 32.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I wrote that. Okay.
But you're approving the site plan itself. You're not approving a specific number, you're approving the drawing that they've
Okay.
provided as the new site plan of record.
Alrighty. Alrighty, so now that we have clarity, so we don't make it unclear. Okay. Alrighty, so again, for clarification, as stated by the attorney and stated previously, all we're voting on tonight is whether or not we're gonna approve the site plan modification, as well as the landscape, which was not able to be done because of the conflict with the utility easement. So that's the vote for tonight.
Okay.
Okay? Alrighty, so with that, if there's any questions on those two items in terms of what we're actually voting on here tonight?
No.
Any questions or
table
comments?
this?
Sorry.
Can we table this? Because we need to read some more stuff.
Again, I'm sorry, speaking to the mic?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Can we table this in order to get the time frame done and the paperwork I was asking about, we can read over that. I think this needs to be tabled. I don't think we need to vote on this tonight.
Okay. Again, that was an ancillary issue, not
Right.
related to what we're voting on tonight, but I'll go to the attorney for clarification.
I think, I mean, certainly the council can make any motions that they want, but I think the mayor is correct, and I think that the language that's in the resolution, again, if the council wants to indicate to staff tonight to begin reaching out to the homeowners immediately to try to get these hold harmless documents signed, we can certainly do that as staff. I don't know that needs to hold up the decision on the item tonight because of the condition language that's in the resolution. So should you approve what's before you tonight, and the applicant has agreed to cooperate with the town to try to get these hold harmless documents signed. So if there's an approval, they're going to be bound by that condition to help us get these documents signed. So, but again, the council can make whatever motions it sees fit.
Okay. So with that, any other questions or comments as it relates to the items before us? If there are none, motion please.
Mr. Mayor, I so move that we approve resolution number 2025-11, repealing resolution number 2022-13, the modification of the selected plots, the landscaping plan, and staff immediately contacting residents for signatures.
Thank you so much. Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Has been properly moved and seconded, and for the record, it has been read by title, has been properly moved and seconded. Are there any questions on the motion? Okay. Hearing none, roll call please.
Councilmember Buchanan Webb.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis Quince.
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
And Mayor Alberry.
Yes.
Passes unanimously.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
And
all.
thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for the good, positive relationship we have with you. So
Yes,
we
sir.
look
Thank you
forward
very
to
much.
continued. Okay. And thanks so much, and have a great evening.
And we will begin immediately.
Okay. And so what we can do, when we get to comments, then we'll address the issue there. Okay. Right. At this time, we'll continue on our. Excuse me. My apologies. We'll continue on our agenda. Our next item is item 6C. This is a resolution number 2025-12, approving the final site plan application for number SRS 2025-03, Integrity First Construction. Okay, so the applicant is present. Okay, we'll just have you come forward. Okay, Mitty.
Good evening, how are you?
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is also quasi-judicial. Could you state your name for the council, please?
Giuseppe Shanti.
Can you raise your right hand for me, and I will swear you in? Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And any ex parte disclosures from council that need to be disclosed? Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. So at this time, you have the floor.
So basically, we were here in June 3rd, I think. We got approved for our preliminary, and we're here tonight to get our final site plan approval so we can move forward with the building applications.
Joe, if you would, just give a quick overview of the project, just to refresh everyone's memories.
So the project is a recovery center. It's already functioning here. It's been here for a few years now. And basically, there's an old building on the site that we want to remove and put up a newer, modern, up-to-date. I mean, that's kind of what it's going to look like when it's finished. We've gone through some iterations with the town, but that's the final look. And we've made the accommodations that were requested through the process, and I think we're where we need to be at this point.
Alrighty, so we'll see if there's any information before council comments. Any additional information?
Mr. Mayor, just simply, Joe's right, they have been through quite a process here, and you have an approval letter from Mr. Van Cott. There are a couple of minor utility issues that we will condition, and these are more or less construction plan issues that they would have to get resolved before they get the permits anyway, but I just put that on the record. Everything else is good to go from a staff point of view.
Thanks so much. Amity?
And just for the council's knowledge, in the resolution that you have, 2025-12, condition number 1, the resubmittal did not contain a signed and sealed landscape plan, so the town staff is recommending that you require the applicant to provide a signed and sealed landscape plan as required by the town code, and also that was a condition of your preliminary site plan approval on June 3rd. The other thing just to note for council is condition 11, the parking spaces, should you approve this item tonight, are the reduced parking space size of 9 feet by 18 feet, which the code allows you to approve. I just wanted to flag for you that that is part of the request tonight, so any approval would allow for that parking space size as well.
Thank you so much. So at this time, we'll see if there's any questions or comments by council. Let's see if there's any comment from the floor.
No comments online.
Seeing that there are none, we'll close the floor. We're back to the dais. If there's no other questions or comments from council, we'll go to our attorney to have it read by title.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. As you said, it's Resolution 2025-12, a resolution of the Town Council of Mangonia Park confirming approval of land development application number SR 2025-03, regarding site plan review for a property located at 1126 48th Street, Mangonia Park, Florida 33407. Parcel control number 444343050800000120, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. So at this time, just before the vote, now the conditions of approval, you received that letter from our engineer and from.
Yes. Yes,
and,
we have.
And you agree to all of those conditions?
Yes.
Okay, and that includes the sign and seal landscape plan?
Yeah, we already have it, but yes, I'll submit that.
Okay, so noted.
Yes.
So at this time, if there's no other questions, and that also includes the parking spaces size
Yes.
and all. Okay, so if there's no other questions or comments by council, motion please.
Mr. Mayor, so move that we approve resolution number 2025-12, with applicant submitting a signed and sealed landscape plan and reduced parking space, or us accepting the reduced parking space.
And the conditions of approval
Okay.
by the.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's conditions.
Alrighty, motion has been made and properly seconded. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Buchanan Webb.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis Quince.
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
And Mayor Alberry.
Yes.
Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
All right, we'll look forward to it, and I like the elevations and
Yes.
everything. So
It-
we'll look forward to it.
it'll be
and let
nice.
us- Let us know when you're see you when you're ready to open up, and
Thank you.
Okay.
You come on? Okay.
yes, just let us know.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much, and thanks
Have a
for the
good
good work
evening.
you
Thank
do.
you very much.
Okay. Alrighty, so with that, we've attended to all of our action items. We're now at public comment, so if there's any comment from the public, the floor is now open, and for those who may be online as well.
No comments online.
Okay. And hearing no comments from the floor, we will close the floor to public comment. At this time, we're going to go to our reports. Kim?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, thank you for your time and attention this evening. We do have a workshop immediately following this, and this is something that Town Council had requested during the budget workshop. It's on Town Council meeting protocol, basically. So that's going to be right after this meeting. I do want to introduce our new sergeant. I'm going to try not to butcher his name, but I'm going to say Sergeant Longhinos. Longhinos? Okay. So we welcome him. He's come highly recommended, and we know he's going to do a great job for us.
Thanks, and welcome. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Certainly. Okay.
And also, I know everyone has questions concerning the fire today. We don't have a lot of answers. I think Ms. Davis Quince referenced it in her opening prayer. We're just thankful that no one was injured and that they got on top of it very quickly. You know, in the days and weeks ahead, we'll have more information. So anything we give you tonight would just be speculation, so we'll withhold any speculation until we have something a little bit further. Wanted to remind council about the water view at Mangonia Park. Groundbreaking ceremony this Friday at 11 a.m. We hope everyone can be there. And I'll say again for the record, this project would not have happened without Town Council support. The county chipped in on funding for this project because of Town Council's enthusiasm for the project. So I think Town Council needs to be there front and center, running a victory lap and waving the town banner. So I'll just say that. And if nobody else says it on Friday, I'll say it. So anyway, and one other item before I close out my remarks. So was having a conversation with Councilmember Buchanan Webb last Thursday, I think it was, and we were talking about several different items. It was basically our one-on-one leading into tonight. we brainstormed a little bit on a few items. One thing I just kind of want to introduce tonight, I know this, we're not going to vote on anything tonight. I know, we wouldn't do that outside of the agenda process. We've got 3 individuals that either work for the town, have worked for the town, or been a consultant for the town. And we're just thinking about how to properly recognize those folks. And I'm going to, since none of them are here tonight, I'm going to mention all 3. Mr. Van Cott, who has been the town engineer since 1982 and is just interwoven in anything that we do project-wise, whether that's a development like Meritage or Intrepid Detox, or if we like simpler projects like repaving the parking lot at the park. Van is a wealth of knowledge and just someone that I know I depend on. Plus, he's very loyal to the town. So for 43 years, he has been true to the town. We're his only client for the past 7 years. So he's retired except for the town of Mangonia. He just can't turn us loose. So I'm thinking at some point we recognize him in some way. I also want to throw out a name you've probably never heard of before, but I'll throw it out there. Sherry Alberry, who's been town clerk since forever, at least 25 years. She's been with the town for about 28 years. And Sherry is Miss Mangonia Park. So I'll put it out there. And Sherry, she's not retiring anytime soon, but I'd like for council to start thinking a little bit of how we might acknowledge that individual. And finally, and I think he makes this known anytime he's behind the mic, Mr. 35 years of Rodney Thomas service to the town. So I think we have some ideas on what we'd like to bring forward in the future, and I'm talking maybe Councilmember Buchanan Webb would like to speak on that as well, but that's just some of the thoughts we have on that. And it makes it better that they're not here tonight, to put that out here. And Mr. Mayor, that does conclude my comments.
Okay. All righty. Councilman Webb, he's giving you a minute of his time.
Oh, okay. Well, I was thinking more we would hear what everyone else have to say before I say it, and then we'd collaborate and then see what would be suitable for each 3. Because I can sit here the whole night and talk, and you don't want that.
Well, I love the fact that he gave Sherry the title Miss Mangonia Park.
Nah.
We can put that in black and white.
And I'll shut up after this, I promise. I will say that any recognition we give anyone, there's always someone that can say, well, what about this person? These 3 individuals, if you look at their longevity with the town, just,
She loved the town.
not matched. I know Councilmember McConnell has been here forever. Of course, we have the shelter named in his honor, the mayor, these council chambers, etc. So we're just looking at 3 individuals that have been here forever and a day. So that's.
And you're looking at 3 individuals that all they're givers, but they don't know how, like they don't receive, like they don't like to take, or they don't like recognition, or they shy away. And I just believe doing this and just catching them off guard, it's one of those things where they can't be like, oh no, I don't want it, can't refuse it. There's no refusal.
Okay. Righty. One of them, I think, is a thorn in our side, but.
Whose side?
Okay. So what we can do then to this, we can sort of, like you said, we can brainstorm and then, not here tonight, we can brainstorm and then give ideas to Ken.
Yeah,
Try to
and then we
formulate all
like
of
get
those.
together, and then Ken could, because my idea probably won't be your idea, and I don't really want to just throw, and it's not that your idea is not a good idea or my idea is not a good idea. We all want the best for all 3. Yeah.
I love the fact that we want to give recognition to Mr. Van Cott and to Ms. Sherry Alberry. I know we've given recognition to Captain Thomas. Do we need to include an additional recognition? Is my only concern on that. Because we did that for him in the,
We have an idea, and I'll be happy to share
Yeah.
that with you one-on-one.
I believe with Captain is what we wanted to do. We didn't do it because he wasn't at that retire. He wasn't, you know how he said, I'm going to retire, and then you plan for retirement. Never really happened. This was, this would have been something that I think we discussed before that we wanted to do, but never got a chance to do because he didn't really retire. And then,
no, I'm talking about what we did during the,
With Owens.
when we recognized, Colonel Owens, we gave Captain
Yep.
recognition. He was totally surprised. He didn't
Mm.
realize that he was gonna be recognized when he arrived, until he saw everyone here, and especially family. He was beginning to say
Yeah.
something's up. So, I mean, I'm not against giving him
Mm.
additional recognition, but I just wanna make sure, what we do, we're doing it fairly for the others who have not received any recognition in this year at least.
Righty, so again, what we can do is we can come up with ideas, and then if there's additional individuals, we can always, we can not have this just be a one-timer.
Yeah.
Right, it could be like this year, then the next year, and then the next year.
Or
and
every
so
2
forth.
years.
Yeah,
That's
right,
right.
every year.
Because you don't want to do everybody all at one time, and
Right.
Yeah.
then next year is just silent. And, you know, just an idea, but feel free to give any ideas and suggestions to the town manager.
Okay.
Righty, he'll put it all together, and we can discuss it from there. Okay. Alrighty, anything else, Ken?
No, sir. That's-
Okay, thanks so much. Alrighty, and we have a new sergeant with us. You have any report or anything from the PBSO?
I don't have anything new. I can just give you some feedback off that fire.
Yes.
I guess,
Mhm.
from what I was being involved by.
Okay,
fire-
want to come forward?
Come up.
Okay, alright, thanks.
No, no problem, sorry.
Mhm.
Sergeant Longinos, just some feedback off that fire. I was being advised by fire rescue that it was possibly the solar panels on the top of the roof. They may have had a glitch or started the fire up there. So that was pretty much it. They did take care of it fairly quickly.
Mhm.
The only thing was that we had to shut down the roadway for
Yeah.
a little extended time, but as soon as we could get it open, we did.
Mhm.
That's all I have for that, and everything else was as reported.
Okay.
All right?
Alrighty.
And thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining
I
us.
appreciate it. Okay. Alrighty.
Thank you for being on the spot.
Mhm.
Thank you for being on the spot.
My pleasure.
Okay, alright, thanks so much. Alrighty, Amity?
And no report, Mayor, thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. Any questions for Amity?
No.
Okay. Alrighty, so with this, we'll now go to our council comments. Councilman Davis? Okay, nothing?
Workshop.
Okay.
I know.
Alrighty, Councilman Webb?
I so move.
Okay.
No,
Alrighty.
we're not there yet.
Okay, Councilman McConnell?
No.
Okay, Vice Mayor Johnson?
No additional comments at this time.
Okay. Alrighty, and I have none, so seeing that we've attended to all of the items here, motion for adjournment?
So move.
Second.
Motion
What-
has
did
been
we
moved and
announce-
seconded.
Did anyone
We're-
announce it was coming up at the fall festival? I mean, that was
October 30th from 3:30 to 6:30 at the park.
Okay.
Fall Festival. This is basically a trunk or treat
Oh,
type
trunk or treat,
event,
okay.
but we've thrown in a few more goodies and called it the Harvest Festival.
What time?
Okay, that's on
Three-
the 30th at 3.
3 to,
3:30 to 6:30.
Okay.
just wanna make sure that was clear, okay.
Okay. Alrighty, so with that, it has been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Pose same sign. It is carried. Thanks so much. We'll take a 2-3 minute recess, and then we'll come right into this very brief workshop.
That's brilliant.
Alright.
Thank you for
I saw-
coming,
I
Miss
saw this
Diane.
told us.
Miss Diane, have a nice night.
Okay.
Good to see you, Diane.
Okay, alrighty.
Thank you. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
God bless
Okay,
you.
thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. Thanks.
We just gonna breeze through this, right?
Yeah, I'm over here like DT. Oh.
No. That's why I said brief. He did tell
You
me it
heard
was
me?
gonna be brief.
I'm over here like E.T. Home. Oh.
Okay, we'll send over to
Most
the.
of the time.
Okay.
I know you can sit where you want.
Yeah, because what I heard, well, it can't be, because tomorrow's Wednesday, is the league. That's a Thursday.
Was that the, mayoral,
Mayor's.
mayoral practice?
Yeah, I forgot to ask if you wanted to come along.
I'd love to come along.
We'll speak to Ken and see if you can be added.
Yeah, cause I like
'Cause
to,
I know they do
like to
numbers.
applaud you, so I'm always there taking up for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not just- You have the
As
time.
long as we're in session, they'll have somebody here, but I'll leave it up to you. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we'll probably another 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, won't be long, but as long
Thanks, I
as you're
appreciate it.
available.
Uh, Alrighty, thanks so much. So with that, we're going to call the Town of Begonia Park workshop of October 21st, 2025 in the session. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Buchanan Webb.
Here.
Councilmember Davis Quince.
Here.
Councilmember McConnell.
Here.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Here.
And Mayor Alberry.
Here. Thank you so much. Ken, you have the floor. I'm sorry, Town Manager, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, thanks again for your time. I'm going to be brief and allow for Council to have plenty of discussion. I did ask Mitty to stick around because if you'll remember, she was part of this conversation back in the summer during the budget workshop. So I'm going to invite you to interrupt me whenever you have a question or you have a thought, and I've invited Mitty to do the same thing. So it did come up as to items in the council meeting, how things should be operated, and so we put a few notes together and we're coming back. Again, interrupt me as you need to. When you talk about the council meeting, you know, the first thing that you really think about, you know, are the agenda items, and that's number one, and a couple of bullet points under that. Typically, items have been mentioned, and this is important to me, items have been mentioned on at least 2 managers' reports leading into the council meeting. Like, for example, that Meritage stuff tonight, that's been in your report for many months because we've had many months worth of discussions with them. So that's a good opportunity to circle something in your report. Hey, Ken, what's going on with this? What's the backstory to this, if you will? So you're not often going to see something on the agenda if it wasn't in at least 2 managers' reports. And the other bullet point, staff tries to avoid these items on the agenda, adding items once the agenda has been published. Sometimes that's necessary, but we do try to avoid that at all costs. We also, this is big for the manager, I don't like to surprise town council members with new information or even new documents at the town council meeting. And then we are typically still working on the agenda and collecting backup material on Friday afternoon prior to the meeting. Ideally, we'd like to have your agenda to you at least a week in advance. And on some of these developments that we're talking about, many more weeks in advance of that. Sometimes it's just not possible. Some of these items that we have to get quotes on and those kind of things, they just drag in. Okay? Number 2, prior to the meeting, we would want town council to read the agenda material, possibly over the weekend, if you could. Second part of that is schedule a one-on-one with the manager on Monday or Tuesday prior to the meeting. I would say if you get to Friday afternoon and you haven't heard from me to schedule a meeting, call me. Things can slip my mind, but I think these are important. Since we really got down to this a few years back, this has really been helpful to me. Now, at the meeting, a couple of things we ask: please be present, please be on time. Another bullet point, if the mayor is absent, the vice mayor presides. If both the vice mayor and the mayor are absent, the longest serving council member will preside. In this case, that would be Councilman McConnell. Okay? We must have 3 members to have a quorum, so we can't really have a meeting if we don't have a quorum. And there are, and if the attorney wants to opine on this a little bit or come back to it, some of your votes require a supermajority, 4 out of 5, or a supermajority of members present in order to have the vote. Okay? Number 4, staff recommendations. Unless there are immediate repairs that need to be made to vehicles, utility lines, or purchase of equipment, town staff does not often offer up recommendations. During our one-on-ones, I'll try to give pros and cons to each issue and let you decide for yourself. I think most of you can vouch for the fact I don't try to lead you in one direction or another. I hope I don't anyway. Okay? On the flip side, number 5, public comments on issues or in general are to be typically 3 minutes and directed toward town council. I know sometimes we'll come up here and some people will say, I have a question for the attorney, have a question for the clerk or the manager. Those questions should be directed at town council. And if town council, particularly the mayor, wants me to address that, they can ask of me and I will respond to it. Okay? Meeting days and times. So it's always first and third Tuesdays. That's been locked in for years. First and third Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Used to be 8 p.m. So thank goodness that was changed a long time back. Sometimes, number 7, sometimes we will cancel meetings if there's just not enough stuff to even talk about. And I would like for council to even consider sometimes on some of these months, 2 meetings might be too much. We may need to consolidate into 1 meeting. Councilman McConnell brought up the idea that the charter or the code, I can't remember, says that we're only required to have 1 regular meeting per month. So we might want to think about consolidating. If we have 1 or 2 items, we may just want to punt to the next meeting. Sometimes we do need to have special called meetings. Something comes up, we may need to do that on short notice. We try to avoid that. We try to get everything done during the regular scheduled meetings. And finally, like tonight, we do schedule some workshops, especially during the summertime when we have all those budget workshops. Okay? So that's kind of my little run through. I'm going to let the attorney offer up anything or let you ask any questions or make comments that you need to.
I guess the only thing I'll add is clarification. I misspoke. Your charter says you have to have, the town council shall hold at least 1 meeting per month. Your code specifies that your meeting dates are the 1st and the 3rd Tuesdays. So as Manager Metcalf indicated, you do not have to have both meetings, but they're provided for in your code. In terms of the approvals and those that require either majority or supermajority, that's mostly in the context of your budget hearings. The only other body for the town that requires supermajority is your Board of Adjustments. They require at least 4 of them to vote in favor of a variance application that comes before them. And then one final comment, just as it relates to recommendations of staff. In variance proceedings and special exception proceedings, which are both quasi-judicial, staff should not be making a recommendation because it is up to the council to decide whether the criteria, so for special exceptions, you're sitting as the planning and zoning board, but for both special exceptions and variances, those are codified criteria in your code. It is up to you as the decision makers for whatever body you're sitting on, whether it be planning and zoning or whether it be council. In this case for variances, it's the Board of Adjustment. I say the same thing to them at all of their hearings, but it's your review as the governing body, as the board, your review of the application against the codified criteria. So staff's recommendation has no bearing on that. Anybody else's personal opinion, my personal opinion has no bearing. Actually, even the members of whatever governing body it is, your personal opinion has no bearing. It's whether the applicant has met their burden of proving those criteria. So just a couple of clarifying comments there, but I'm happy to answer any questions and be available as you continue to discuss.
Thanks, Amity and Ken. So at this time, we're going to see if there's any questions or comments from council. Excuse me. Any council comments or questions? As
I only have a question. If we have our meeting with the town manager discussing issues that's coming before the council, or even just your report, and we feel like we need to get more information from the attorney, what is the preferred procedure?
Absolutely. So when we're having a one-on-one, sometimes I'll forewarn Mitty that, hey, this may come up in the one-on-one, I may need to call you. And a lot of times she'll say, yes, that's fine if she's available. Either that or, you know, on your own, speak to the attorney. If the manager or the clerk or whatever, utilities director can't clarify it. So we either get Mitty in on the conversation at that point or individually just call it. And I think she's open to either.
Certainly, I by this point, I presume you all have my cell phone. I'm happy to give it to you if you don't, but yes, you are free to call me anytime.
Okay. And then what again, if a resident has a concern that may be somewhat of a legal issue, how do we handle connecting with the attorney on that?
So on that, they should speak to the town manager, and I'll note it. And actually, we do have one after the meeting, if we can get together briefly on it. That citizen should bring it up to either the manager or to a council member, and the council member bring it up to the manager. I can bounce that off the attorney at an appropriate time.
And if I may, can I just add one clarifying comment there? So I represent the town and the town council. I cannot give legal advice to residents, so everything is fact specific, and obviously it's all nuanced, but just so the council, you all know this, but I can't give legal advice to anyone but the council and town staff as it relates to town business. So I'm happy if the manager asks me questions about things, I'm happy to if appropriate, give legal advice, but if not appropriate, I will convey the same to him.
Give legal clarity, yes.
Yes.
Because there was a question that came up, an individual asked me for your number, and I told them I'd have to take it to the town manager. And I just wanted to make sure that that is the appropriate step. That's the way I believed was most appropriate.
Absolutely.
Never to give out your number to a resident, but to take it to the town manager and then make that connection. Thank you.
Other comments or questions from council?
Home.
Okay. Now, before we go home, just to want to make sure we have everything right. And again, just from my vantage point as it relates to the meetings, one of the things, of course, is that conversations and of course, sitting as your chair, whether that be myself or the vice mayor, whomever it will be, always know that the person sitting as the mayor, the chair of this process, right, sort of directs the meeting. Right. So one of the things, of course, is that I'm always looking. I'm like a swivel. My head is on a swivel. So I'll acknowledge you, right? Raise your hand or just kind of right and so forth. Because what we want to do is make sure we speak in turn, right? And I'll always try and give enough time. For instance, anything else, McConnell? Right. And so until I've acknowledged you, if you could just hold on, I'm going to get to you. I just want to make sure I don't cut McConnell off. And I'm using my good friend here. We've been together a long time. Because he will pause for like a minute, then he'll get back in, and I'm like, so I have to wait. Anything else? Right. The others, and that's not an affront. I'm just that's my good friend, so I can say it. Right. But I will get to you, and I'm always acknowledging if somebody has a hand out. You'll see me writing, so you don't have to let me know. So and so got the hand up. I've seen them. I'll get to them in order, right? Because we want to make sure that the meeting goes as fluid as possible. And as professionally as possible. And then too, tonight was one of those situations where sometimes in terms of just remanding conversation to the business at hand, right, you have some ancillary conversations, and it's necessary sometimes, and you allow it. But at the time that we're trying to bring it back to focus, we're bringing it back to focus, right, because the ancillary conversations sometimes aren't pertaining to what we're discussing. Right, and know this, that I'm always looking at a Mitty, you know, I'll kind of look over at her, you know, make sure that we stay on legal track, right, and she has certain moves and so forth that I've learned over the years, and right, so just trust that I see it, I got it, and, you know, so. But then too, the other thing too, and I say this as gingerly as I can, it's important we be on time. It's crucial we be on time, right? It's first and third Tuesdays. First for sure. It's normally what we do, and if there's any other business, we go third. Let's plan our time, any events that we have to make sure we're here on time. If I can ask gently, I'm just gonna kind of nudge you along to be on time. Okay, so with that, those are my comments.
If you could get them to stop blocking the intersection, even when I'm early, sometimes my 7 o'clock lates is different. But even today, they just sit out there, and if you're not sitting on your horn, They're literally blocking the intersection. They won't even let you go and the light is red and they're still trying to come up. And then they see you trying to go across the street and they still sit up so close. Like, I think we could make so much, am I allowed to say we could make so much money off tickets? Because a part of it comes to us, right? If someone is out there giving tickets, I bet you they'll stop. Back in the days, they would not play with 45th Street, especially when they get to Australian and there. But I don't know what has happened. Another thing about the meeting, I go over the manager's meeting and I go out to businesses and I will do stuff before the meeting. But like tonight, yes, it has been but sometimes when you're hearing stuff or you're saying stuff,
I get that.
it would sound foreign and I'm like, wait, hold on. It's 8 foot but how I got it and how I've been seeing it and reading it and hearing it was totally different than how I heard it tonight. So I had like 5 different questions that would want to back up what I think. Because my thing is, I remember how we get charged for something because of one little word, and I was just asking about the specifics. Because it sounded to me like they were saying, hey, after this, I'm not responsible, I'm just here to support, type of thing. So it's more like, okay, I'm just here just to be here, just to present that, and everything else is. So that's what I got from it, and that's why I just started looking into it a little bit deeper. So yeah.
Point taken. Thank you.
Right. And I certainly understand the traffic, and this is just a general statement. I understand traffic. McConnell and I, we be heading south sometimes and so forth, and then you learn traffic patterns, and then you make the adjustments for those traffic patterns. If I'm going to Miramar, I know it's at least an hour and a half, at least. Then it became 2 hours, so I had to adjust and start leaving 2 hours in advance as opposed to an hour and a half. So we make the adjustments, and so forth, to attend to those things, because there's the unknown, as you stated. There's unknown, so we have to plan for the unknown as well, and as much as we can. So.
Bryn Mawr and Tiffany is the unknown. They won't let you in and they won't let you out.
Yeah. Right. So when the light changes and it's got to move, and so you kind of ease up.
So many cars out there.
Okay. Alrighty. Any other questions or comments as it relates
So
to?
move, adjourn, let's go home.
Alrighty. Any other questions or comments? Okay.
I do appreciate the one-on-ones. I think they do me a lot of good if they don't, and I feel like they're beneficial to council. So we can kind of stay on track with that. That's appreciated.
Well, absolutely. I concur, and they should take place that when we get here, we have fewer questions, and then we can go home.
Then we don't have to spend the night. We don't have to, as the little boy say, we don't have to spend the night. We can go home early.
There you go. Right.
Well, it makes the meeting go faster.
They do.
Thank God for
And
one-on-ones.
You've already discussed it.
Right, and there are times to that, and a 10-second response to that is that there are times, and again, like I said, I watch the audience, right? Whatever venue I'm in, I watch the audience. So sometimes you'll see an expression like,
what?
how did they just vote on that? See, they just do whatever they want to, and you'll hear me, sometimes you'll hear me say that. Well, in our one-on-one budget, on our one-on-one meetings that we've had discussions, then they kind of, okay.
I'm so glad you clarify that every time, because it does make a difference.
Oh yeah, I watch
Because
body
they trying
language.
to figure out how y'all vote, and y'all haven't even talked about it.
Yeah, they just come and just yes, and no, we've.
And Mr. Mayor, if I can make a comment, we've had a lot of people over the years talk about how well-run our meetings are and how civil our council members are. So, just so you'll know.
Yes, and to our new sergeant, we will take people out. So. we haven't had to. I'm just kidding.
Except for the manager. So.
We'll move him too.
But town manager, to your honor, I'll say, by having the established pre-council reviews with you, those one-on-ones make a big difference. Because there are times we don't really understand the issue, but talking it over with you, we can air it out and get more clarity. And then maybe sometimes something comes up after our one-on-one and I can get that question answered in the town council meeting. But there, in the past, previous to your presence, there were things that we hear first time in the council meeting.
Oh. No.
And then after the council's over, I've still got questions about it. And I don't feel like we adequately covered it. So this helps us to be prepared for the issues that are coming up.
And helps
that
me
we
to
can
be
have a
prepared.
fair report on all of the concerns, so I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
saying that.
Right,
Thank
and
you.
the responsibility we have as well, because as you were stating in the past, I would hear PAC is being opened for the very first time.
Yeah.
On the dais, and that, so that shouldn't happen, right? So even though we have the one-on-ones, we still have a responsibility as well, so. I know currently we do, but I just throw that in there.
And I also
Very first
wanted
time, it's
to
like, oh, no.
say, I'm sorry, I didn't quite.
No, go ahead.
I appreciate your weekly reports.
No, thank you.
Now, I don't always get to read it all the way through before I get to the one-on-one, but usually I try to look at it a little bit before I get to the one-on-one, because there's usually something that I have a question about in the weekly reports that we can get clarity on at that time and even make recommendations
Right.
on how to handle that issue.
Okay.
Thank you for
Righty,
saying
so
that.
before we have
Appreciate
our
that.
adjournment, now, for each of you, when you have your one-on-ones, is Ken sweating when you leave? Because if not, then it's not productive.
Sometimes he is.
You've done your job.
Okay, good,
So-
good.
I make his
Okay.
pen right a lot sometimes.
Oh, good. Good meeting and good discussion. So
Yes.
with that, if there's nothing else,
Yeah, thank
motion
you,
for
Mr.
adjournment
Thank you, Mr. King.
Second.
has been properly moved and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Thanks so much, and we'll see you at the next meeting.
You should do like
I think so. Well, we'll see you before then. We're going to see you on the 30th. Yes. And Friday, yes. Okay. Friday, have a good evening.
Where are we meeting on Friday again?
He did that
Here?
when